Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. We're gonna talk about self-sabotaging while I straighten my hair. Okay? Alright. So, this isn't all the way dry. Self-sabotaging comes in many forms. Alright? Addiction is one of those. We already talked about addiction earlier this week. Or was that last week? I don't know. Time is really weird right now. If you're feeling like that too, I think it's kind of a collective phenomenon at this moment, because there's so much going on. So, with that being said, when there is that much going on, sometimes we use tendencies to escape, right? And that's okay as long as we use moderation. But that's not the only type of self-sabotaging, okay? I think as we're doing decolonizing work, as we're doing shadow work, as we're coming into consciousness and spiritually awakening to, the type of gifts that we have, the type of talents and skills that we have, sometimes we know those things and we still do something to sabotage ourselves, right? Sometimes we receive really clear messages about stuff and we completely fucking ignore them. Alright. Ooh, I feel called out right now. Fuck. Alright. Me too. I do that shit too. So self-sabotaging tendencies usually stem from a place of unhealed. I'm thinking of, so I watched The Perks of a Wallflower yesterday, and the main character, Charlie, in the very beginning, Paul Rudd tells him, well, we accept the love we think we deserve. And I feel like this doesn't necessarily need to be romantic love, but that is included. But I'm mostly thinking about like parental love or familia love, family love, that kind of sets the tone in our lives for us understanding what it is that we deserve. So, if we have unhealed trauma, if we have people, if we're still in those relationships too, of people who either made us feel inadequate or just downright shitty, people who are mean to us, with this umbrella of family. If you're a generational curse breaker, then you understand, oh god, this kid always finds me when I'm doing something. It's crazy. He's outside playing. If you're a generational curse breaker, then I don't know how straight we're gonna get this, but I always have these like little pieces right here that don't really like to get straight at all. But if you're a curse breaker, then you understand the importance of self-sabotaging, cycle breaking, right? And a lot of that stuff does stem from family. And again, if we think about how we were treated when we were little, that's part of doing the inner child work, right? Especially as grown-ups, as adults, really looking at the ways in which we carry ourselves and thinking about the ways in which the adults around us or our parents or caregivers or whatever treated us or handled situations. We can understand that like all of those things factor into how we participate or don't participate in self-sabotaging things. I did just do a collective reading about releasing toxicity, and that's why I'm following it up with this, because it did come out in that reading that we needed to talk about self-sabotaging. So I think a lot of the times it's ruled by this fear in an inadequacy, right? Again, accepting what we think we deserve, even though we know we deserve better. It's a pattern. It's a pattern of how we've been treated, how we were taught to treat ourselves, right? And again, it stems in many sort of different forms. Whatever it is for you. Ability to communicate, addictions, certain behaviors, reckless behavior, things like that. I don't know what it is for you. I'm not going to try and guess. I just want us to be aware of it and understand where it comes from. Because I think in all of this, no matter what, a radical understanding. Hi, baby. I'm almost done with my hair. I think a radical understanding is always the best and most efficient teacher. It's just not going to get straight. It's irritating. I don't really feel like sitting here and doing this. I did get a little less frizzy though. I don't know. It's not gonna go straight. I'm just straightening it to curl it, so that's awkward. Anyway, ow, wow. Just chiropractored myself unexpectedly. What's up? Hi, Fizz. Hi. I don't want to go outside. I'm wearing a robe. Gotta get clothes on. Anyway, I don't know. If it's something that you've never heard about, kind of look into it. I think it can really, the introspection work and the chakras and everything else that we do over here, everything is those are all modalities for healing, right? No matter what the issue is that you're facing, ultimately it's stemming from something that happened in childhood. That doesn't mean that's the only time it happened either. That just means that's one of the times it happened, right? Again, we accept the love we think we deserve. So if we have never been loved properly, we don't think we deserve love at all. Same. I'm on that bus with you. So that's why it's so important to, especially as adults or grown-ups or people who are able, have the power and agency to give us the love that we wish to receive from someone else, right? And as you do that, as you give yourself that love, self-sabotaging tendencies are going to become less and less attractive, less necessary, right? Because you're going to be loving yourself. Then you're not even going to be expecting it from someone else. And I think that's another thing that love, especially people in our society who want, or I think romantic love has just been capitalized, or like something that has become like a consumer want, right? Like everybody wants this, right? It starts in like, fairy tales and children's movies. You know what else they do in those movies? They have like some giant trauma. So like that's why we're gonna talk about that in the hidden messages class on here. But the way that children's movies are put together is this really intense emotional roller coaster. And I'm just using this as an example because most of us were brought up on those things where there was some sort of tragedy in the beginning. And for someone whose brain is, just starting to work in the world and understand things, I'll be out there in a minute, baby. It goes from tragedy and betrayal to like needing love outside of yourself. Like that's the only way. And so I just feel like this is such a big, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Thanks for watching. I think, where was I? I think romantic love has I think heartbreak too. We talked about heart chakra this week with the chakras. I'll do the crown chakra in a little bit once this uploads. And then we'll be all done with that series. Come back to it as much as you need to. Whenever you feel like there's an imbalance in you. That's why I'm doing it, so that it's here for everybody, right? But anyway, I feel like this society breeds looking outside of yourself for answers, right? It's a pretty well-known fact. That's what consumerism and capitalism need, right? to stay relevant. And when we start to internalize that, because it is the society in which we live, is that good enough? Good enough. Then we kind of subconsciously self-sabotage things, right? Believe things are too good to be true. Waiting for the other shoe to drop is the saying. I know that. I go through that too, and I think that's a lot of trauma, right? Some PTSD response. So it's heartbreak, it's PTSD. I don't think those two are necessarily separate either. Some people have been through horrendous heartbreak that felt like PTSD. It's a pretty well-known scientific and medical fact that people can die of heartbreak. So when you get hurt to that degree from something outside of yourself, it becomes something you internalize, and therefore self-sabotage by doing all of these things, right? Whatever they are to you. Again, it's anything outside of moderation or imbalance, or in a space of imbalance, right? You know, maybe you know it's not right, but you keep doing it anyway. That's self-sabotaging, right? You know what your next step is, but you haven't taken the other little steps to get to that big step, right? Whatever it is for you. You know that this person is no good for you, but you're still in a relationship with them. And that can be any sort of thing. I had to let my mom go. I tried for years to get my mom to come into consciousness. I'm like, I don't want to leave her behind. And she had no desire. And so that's why I say all the time, people have free will. You have free will to self-sabotage, right? And I'm happy that you're here, even just learning about it or thinking about the things that you do in a different way, because I think that's the first step. Nobody's motherfucking perfect. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And we have that leeway to do so. But I think if you are, I have to make another video too today. I think if you are in a space of, this revolving door of misery, and you're like, I really want to get out of this, but I'm still in it, just take a look, I've put up a lot of stuff to help you through that, any of the feelings that come up. Today I'm going to also make a video after this one about how to recognize if someone has done black magic on you. And what that feels like. Okay, because some of the self-sabotaging, sometimes, I'm not saying that black magic is used like that, but it's something that I'm being called to share about. So I'm going to. And I will be dressed and have my hair, and I'm probably not going to curl it today. But anyway, I will be back in a little while. I hope this was helpful. There's nothing wrong with you. Whatever made you get into these cycles is not a reflection of who you are at your core. I want you to understand that. This isn't to shame anyone. This is to help you liberate yourself. That's it. That's all. My whole channel. I think that a lot of these topics are taboo, and we don't talk about them enough. We don't relate to each other enough, and that's why I think it's important to put this stuff out, and that's why I'm here. But I'm gonna go do my makeup and get dressed, and oh, that's irritating, but it's whatever. All right, I'll be back in a little bit, and we're gonna talk more about some other shit. Have a good one.